and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And welcome to a very, very special edition today of the Ruthless Talk podcast. My condolences go out to my co-host here and his Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately. As you guys know, any football fans out there, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Baltimore Ravens today. And yeah, for those of you who are not big Swiftie fans or Travis Kelce fans, you're shit out of luck, unfortunately. Brian, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but I gotta ask, man, how are you feeling, bro? Like, what's going through your mind as a Baltimore Ravens fan? Like, what's going through the mind, brother? Talk to me.
That was a shit game, man. I mean, they picked a hell of a day to have probably their worst game of the year, man. I don't know. Hats off to KC, man. They get back there again, but yeah, I thought it was, Baltimore had everything going for them. Number one defense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's legendary kicker, MVP this year. I mean, I think Jackson probably will be the MVP of the league. I mean, it was there for him, man. I don't know. It was just let's go Detroit. That's all I can say now.
That's right.
Yeah, but I mean, hell of a year. I don't really ever get too up or too down with any of these things. I mean, at the end of the day, I root for my teams, but I'm not seeing any winnings from this. So, it was a great year. Hopefully they can improve or get back there next year. But yeah, here's to Detroit going to and winning the Super Bowl, because fuck, I don't want to see KC win it again. And that's not just because of the and it's not even a Swift thing. It's not because I'm just, I've never been that high on KC. They're great. Yeah. Got great players, but it's just, they're, Detroit needs that, man. Give that shit to Detroit.
Right. You, as well as I'm sure a lot of people in this country I'm sure have the same exact feeling. I mean, listen, I root for a losing franchise. I mean, at least for you guys, you've been in the playoffs, you've done it. For me, on my end, I got no dog in the fight. I just hope that we just get a winning record and we just make the playoffs. Shout out to all my New York Jet fans that are listening to this right now. But anyway, enough about football. It's time to get into some pro wrestling for today. But first things first, I do want to give a quick shout out to both Keef and Key from the Shea and Sons podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, I was able to be a part of their podcast. They invited me to be on their show called Shea and Sons Podcast. If you guys are big sports fans, if you guys are big baseball fans, hell, as a bonus, if you're a big New York Mets fan like myself, those are the guys you definitely want to go check out. That video, we talked about the Royal Rumble, of course, as well as the New York Mets, the Baseball Hall of Fame, which ballots were announced just this past week. So if you guys want to go check that out, the link of that video will be in the description, as well as for you guys to go check out both Keef and Key, the Shea and Sons podcast. Make sure you guys go check out their stuff. They're great at what they do. I've had the pleasure of meeting them on Twitter, social media, and everything. They're great guys. And just, again, passionate fans, just like yours truly. But give them a follow, give them a listen, and check out that video that is both on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as on their YouTube channel.
Let me shout you guys out real quick too, man. I had the pleasure of listening to it, and all means, everybody go check that out. I'm a baseball fan too. I'd love listening to you guys talk about the Mets. That's y'all's team. And I'm telling you, man, stick around to the end. It's some funny shit, man. So go check out that video. Really good shit, man. It is,
bro. We did a very wild activity. Very, very freaking wild. But hey, we wouldn't have it any other way, especially with Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. So if you like some wild, crazy shit in the sports wrestling world, then definitely go check out that video for sure. But let's get into the show, man. Let's dive straight into it. So we are officially in WrestleMania season, Brian, as last night was the Royal Rumble, and a lot happens, a lot of moments, a lot of returns, and a lot of buzz that has now been added into this road going into WrestleMania, as we are going to dive in straight to the Royal Rumble, which was 24 hours ago, which is another edition for all you OG fans out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I will explain those rules once we dive into the show. But I do want to discuss this. And speaking of headlines, there's been some other headlines that have been created, Brian, as of late, and it's not good headlines. And that person that has created those headlines has been Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself. As you guys know, as it's no secret at this point, as it's been talked about all week, it's been discussed all week on social media, everywhere. Vince McMahon is a part of this lawsuit for sex trafficking. That's right, sex trafficking. He's been in a lawsuit and he has officially been relieved, or he has stepped down. He's now been relieved of his duties, being a part of TKO and WWE. And yeah, Vince McMahon is done. Listen, Brian, I'll keep this short because I do want to get into the Rumble, and I've already spoken about it on social media. I've already spoken on Instagram, TikTok. If you guys want to go check out my reaction to all of this, that is on all platforms, and they'll be in the description down below. But man, it's just, I honestly, Brian, just feel horrible for a lot of people. One of them is the people of TKO. And I've even said it in the video where they came off such good momentum, whether we like these business decisions or not. But the whole Netflix deal, The Rock joining the board, everything, man, the Royal Rumble, all this buzz with the Royal Rumble. And then in the snap of a finger, it just does a complete freaking 180. And I mean, Brock Lesnar's name has been involved, which is why you didn't freaking see him last night. He's been rumored to be on the show, Royal Rumble last night. He was not a part of it because of this whole lawsuit. It's unfortunate, and it's crazy to think also it's just with Vince is, all we knew in this company about Vince McMahon was being this creative genius, right? This creative genius that created what WWE, World Wrestling Federation, now with WWE World Wrestling Entertainment is today. And now, Brian, in such a short amount of time, all of that has now changed to where Vince McMahon is just known as this just disgusting, horrible human being. And Vince McMahon is going to try to defend his case with all of these accusations and allegations, but man, it's a mess, man, to go from such a high to then all of this shit with the lawsuit and everything. I mean, with TKO and Endeavor, it's crazy, Brian. It's like we always thought about, what would it be when Vince McMahon finally does leave this company? And never in my wildest imaginations to where it would be this. Seriously. And it's funny because it's different because we've heard of these accusations that this has been going on for a while, but now this is different. You're seeing all the evidence. You're seeing all of this shit and everything. And now it just hits different to be like, wow, like this is no more he said, she said thing. This is a real thing. And yeah, man, it's just, again, shout out to this woman that I'm forgetting off the top of my head as well. Again, TKO Endeavor, it's just business-wise, it sucks. I know their stock plummeted straight down once this whole shit started. So, and that's all I can really say, man. But Brian, I'd love to get your thoughts, man, before we get into the Rumble, your thoughts on Vince, this lawsuit, and everything that's happened over the past several days.
Man, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just, I don't even know where to start, man, because it really, you talk about the Rumble and everything, and we'll get into it. There was really so much positive, good shit for good reason, and this, like, god damn it, man, I don't know what I can say about people of his ilk, right? There's a lot of them. Where, look, obviously I fell in love with this thing that, his father created and then he took over it and whatever, as a kid. And, I have a hard time really with we have this like hero worship culture in our society, you know, just in sports and whatever your thing is, a sports, an actor, an actress, whatever. You know, and I try to like always, you know, I'm trying to explain to my daughter, like, you know, there are some people that yes are just evil. There are some people that are purely good, but most of us exist in this in between where, you know, you're good but you have flaws, right? We're flawed
Right.
people.
Yeah.
So just with Vince, man, God, it's one of those things where like you hate to hear it and immediately like, you know, it's true.
Yeah.
I have zero doubt. And you get these people with this power and money that largely live above beyond any type of laws and cultural norms that most of us adhere to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's disgusting. Fucking can't stand that kind of shit, but that's what we live in, you know.
Yeah.
um all I can say, and I do let me clarify this too, because, and again, I'm not downplaying or excusing in any way. So if you take this the wrong way or you don't really pay attention, I don't know what to fucking tell you. But so immediately you hear sex trafficking, right? And my mind immediately goes to, you know, underage teenage girls, runaways, kidnapped, you know, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Which if I read the lawsuit and whatever correctly, this is basically an adult woman that is accusing him and some others of basically, you know, passing her around, kind of, you know, which I'm not here to parse words or get into the minutia of sex trafficking, but I do want to make that clear that as far as I know, or that anybody knows, we're not talking about like kidnapping children here and putting them in sex, you know, whatever, unless I completely missed something. That being said, it's fucking horrible and wrong and disgusting anyway. And if you're, I mean, I've read somewhere, again, all this is speculation, and that's what, like, I'd rather wait until, because, you know, more information is going to come out. But from what we're hearing, like, it's written into people's contracts. Like, I don't know how you would write that into a fucking contract, but you know, I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm, you know, this stuff supersedes anything. Yeah, he created this industry largely that we love. And I feel bad for the wrestlers, the men and women out there that had to go out there this weekend and try to put this behind them with, you know, this all over their head, because they have nothing to do with it. You know, I feel bad for this woman who was found herself somehow, some way in this situation, that she was used and abused, and I don't know, man. It's just, I'm ready for him to be gone. Like, yeah, we're gonna hear about him, but you know, the man should be in prison. He probably won't be. You know, he'll make some fucking settlement and die in whenever he dies. You know, I don't know, but that's probably how this ends. Like, he should be in prison, but he won't.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Brock. Fuck. I mean, Brock Lesnar, like, real. You know, who knows how deeply he's involved in this? And
Right.
yeah, man. Fuck. I don't know, but whoever's involved and however deeply, whatever, you know, Bruce Pritchard, who the fuck ever, man. You know, and we talk about, you know, us, the general public, you know, yeah, we didn't know exactly what he was doing, you know, or whatever, but there's people that knew and enabled it and participated in it. And fuck all of you, man. I mean, you all should be in prison, and none of you probably will. So
Yeah, it's It's crazy, man. It's just first we're in the month of January, and it's just like already on such a roller coaster, at least business wise with this
Yeah.
company. And yeah, and again, I mean, with Brock, I mean, who knows? I know when it comes to this woman, I believe Janelle is her name, as well as Brock. They never officially met in person. From what I've been hearing, or again, I wasn't able to read the full lawsuit, so I can't really say anything in regard to that. I'll still have to dig more deep in regards to this full lawsuit and everything. I haven't been able to read the full thing. So, but yeah, it's just with Brock. I mean, who knows when you're going to see Brock Lesnar again? I'm
mean, if
sure.
he's involved in any way whatsoever, you should never fucking see him again. Fuck
Right.
him.
And exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So yeah, dude, it's a really shitty situation. And honestly, Brian, it's kind of it's ironic that, you know, we always talk about Vince McMahon and how he books these shows and how poorly he books everybody and how he's kind of just hurting his own product, or he's kind of diminishing his own product. Well, now he is just diminished and tarnished his, not just his
Everything.
reputation, just his baby, everything.
Yeah.
And it just
His
sucks
family.
to see, man.
I mean, you know,
The family, yeah, the McMahon
yeah,
name,
I mean,
everything, man. You know, and I think and who knows? I mean, is there a reason why Stephanie decided to take her ball and get out? Is there a reason why
Shane
some other
too.
Shane as well? Like, is there
you know,
more to why, you know, Vince McMahon, we all the stuff about, you know, how he was able to get back onto the board and, you know, this quickly and getting all of his ducks in a row. Like, you know, it's just, it slowly is starting to add up, but there also is still more questions, but at least in regards to putting the full picture together. But yeah, man, it's just, it's horrible. And it just sucks that this had to take a lot of headlines away from what WWE was, and TKO and Endeavor, and also this Royal Rumble, which we're going to get into. That's also the main unfortunate thing as well. Outside of like, just again, real life shit, outside of entertainment, this and that, you know, this is real life shit. And it's serious. It's a serious thing.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, man. And that's honestly all we can say, but let's dive straight into the Royal Rumble. Let's get straight into it, man. So if you guys know, when it comes to the Royal Rumble or any other pay-per-view that we discuss or go over or we review, so with this good and the bad and the ugly, each match and each segment or any surprise entrant or any type of big moment is going to get into one of these tallies. It's going to be at least one tally. Every tally that goes into the ugly column, that will be crossed off, and it will turn into two bads once we do the final tallies of this review. Whoever has the most tallies by the end of this review, that will determine whether this is a good or bad pay-per-view. So we're going to dive straight into it. A lot happened in this show last night, a lot of stuff to get into, and we will dive straight into this, man. The good, the bad, and the ugly 2024 Royal Rumble live in Tampa, Florida. Hulk Hogan did a narration to start off this event. And of course,
which is
I know
fucking baffling.
Which is right. I know it led to a lot of speculation. Like, is he actually gonna like appear in this show? I've heard a lot of that. But
we talk about bad PR. Like this guy, like now, I mean, now is not the fucking time for Hulk Hogan to be coming back here, dude.
Right.
God damn.
You and me both, brother. So yeah, that happened to start off the show, to kick off the show. Pat McAfee joined commentary. Thank God he was a part of that commentary team the entire night with both Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Kevin Patrick has also been released from the company. So Michael Cole, I know, is going to be joining SmackDown again. He's going to be doing Raw and SmackDown again. I will say, man, like, I've never been a fan, Brian, of like a 3-man booth, but with Pat, Corey, and Michael Cole, they all gel very, very well together. So if you're ever going to do a 3-man type of a booth, hey, I'm more than fine with all three of those individuals, man. So it was good to see Pat McAfee. So it's like, he's just again, he's an entertainer and he just gets it. And what better way to be an entertainer than to be a part of it. Exactly. He brings the energy to it. Like, he has a tremendous connection with an audience. So it was just great to see him, because I know he's doing his thing with his own Pat McAfee show that just is now on ESPN now on a weekly basis now, or on a daily basis, I should say, every Monday through Friday. So he's doing his thing, making a shit ton of money in the process. So, but it was so good to see him back just in the WWE realm of things. So, but the first matchup of the night was the Women's Royal Rumble match. Oh boy, freaking strap up, Brian, because a lot happened in this match. So I'm going to dive straight into it. So I have all the entries of this match. However, I'm not going to go through every single elimination and everything, because we'll just be here for 4+ hours, and I don't want to do that to y'all. But I will be discussing some big moments, some big returns that did happen, as well as go through all of these entries in this Rumble. So the first 2 entries in this Women's Rumble match were Natalya at number 1 and a returning Trinity fought to Naomi. Oh my God, it was so freaking good to see her. She brings back the glow, her whole getup. It was so freaking good to see her. Really, truly awesome stuff, Naomi. I mean, of course, there were rumors. We even talked about it. I've discussed it, Brian. You've discussed it, that there's a possibility she could come back. And again, it was dependent how fast WWE can get something on the dotted line. And they were able to do that. So it was so good to see Naomi back. And that just, like, from the jump, just added such a pulse to this match right away. So freaking love that. So Natalya and Naomi started off the show. Entry number 3 was Bayley. Remember that name later on, guys. Bayley. Number 4 was Candice LeRae. Number 5, guys, get ready for this. Number 5 is TNA's Knockouts champion, Jordynne Grace. That's right. Jordynne Grace. She was face to face with Naomi in the ring. They embraced in a hug, and then they went for blows afterwards, man. It was really cool with Jordynne Grace. Again, another woman that I just praise so heavily over at TNA. You guys know how TNA impacts women's division is just so freaking good right now. And it was so cool to see Jordynne Grace up on that stage. I always believe she always deserved that type of pedestal. And it was so good to see her, under those bright lights and everything. At number 6 was Indy Hartwell. Number 7 was Asuka. Number 8 was Ivy Nile. Number 9 was Katana Chance. And number 10 was the EST Bianca Belair. So once by the time Asuka and Kairi Sane was number 11, spoiler alert there, that's when Damage Control started to, take over. They pretty much started to take over the match. They had the numbers game, and that was pretty much 1/3 of the match. So before we get through the rest of these entries, Brian, your thoughts, man? Naomi, Jordynne Grace, the first third of the matchup, a lot of fireworks to start this show off, man.
Yeah, good start, definitely. I mean, the highlight for me was Naomi. I did expect her to come back. I didn't think she'd be number 2, but I thought that was great. And having her in there with Natalya, we talk about Natalya, but those two have a history together. And, just starting off the match, getting her, back in, feet wet in a WWE ring, that was great.
Yeah.
And what's her last name? Jordynne Grace?
Jordynne Grace.
Is it Gracie? It's Grace,
or
right?
Grace.
Yeah.
Is it Gracie? Gracie?
I think it is Grace.
My apologies if I'm botching that.
Yeah. But no, that was good too, man. So yeah, right off the bat, I didn't think all of Damage Control would be in there within the first 10, 11.
Yeah.
But it was a good start. And yeah, the highlight for me was Naomi coming back, and she lasted over 50+ minutes, right? I mean, she was
in there all the way pretty much to the very end. And we'll talk more about Naomi later on in this matchup. But yeah, it was so good to see her, man. So good to see her. Just again, she actually got a decent reaction when she came out there. And again, I just thought that type of surprise was just very well needed to start the show, to really get a pulse going into the show. And then the face off with Jordynne Grace and Naomi, if you guys know the history just recently in TNA, thought that was really badass, man. I mean, Jordynne Grace. And again, if you haven't seen Jordynne Grace, man, in a TNA ring or wrestling ring, highly recommend you do such. Go on YouTube, whatever you got to do, because this woman, she is legit, and she is that damn good. I mean, she's a freaking powerhouse. I mean, look at her, for fuck's sake. I mean, I'm just saying so. But let's get through the rest of these entries. So, of course, like I mentioned, number 11 was Kairi Sane. Number 12 was Tegan Knox. Number 13 was Kaden Carter. Number 14, Chelsea Green. I'm sorry. Shout out to Samantha Irving. Samantha Irving was awesome, by the way, with her
I
introductions.
know, man. It's like I kind of. I'm sorry to cut you off. I kind of
No,
get
no,
it
go ahead.
with the. I guess if she just does this for certain wrestlers, maybe people could say like, oh, she's putting them over or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little nitpicky and bitching because, man, what she can do, let her be her and let her do that shit, man. Because fuck, it's
Absolutely.
awesome, man.
It really is, man. Couldn't said it better myself. Absolutely. But Chelsea Green was number 14. Piper Niven was at number 15. Xia Li at number 16. 17 was Selena Vega. 18 was Maxine Dupree. Number 19 was Nia Jax. And number 20 was Shotzi. So Kairi Sane had a very dramatic elimination. She's like hanging on by a thread by the ring apron, and then finally she just collapses into the ring or outside of the ring. I believe Asuka was also eliminated straight afterwards. Belair and Jordynne Grace went at it. That was freaking badass. Jordynne Grace was eliminated via KOD onto the ring apron. Badass elimination. I love the way, if you're going to have Jordynne Grace in this matchup, at least make her go out in that badass type of scenario, because that was freaking awesome, that KOD. She took it like the champ that she is, man, and that was really, truly badass. Now, Brian, this is at the point to where we start to take our foot off the gas pedal. And this is where I get to Nia Jax. Nia Jax comes in number 19. And listen, we've talked
Man, don't you hate on my girl. Don't you hate on my girl.
Hold on a second, Brian. Hold on. Listen. I really do appreciate the, what's the word I'm looking for with Nia Jax? Like I see a little bit of improvement,
progression
for Nia Jax. Progression, right? But man, she goes out there. And guys, she legit cleans house. Like, she takes out like legit badass females like Xia Li, like Ivy Nile. And I'll be honest with you, Brian, I'm sitting here going, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, listen, this is no shade to Nia, but like this whole Nia Jax is a beast type of shtick. It's just like, it's not like, I don't know what it's doing for anybody. Like, has Nia Jax done well since she came back? Absolutely, sure. But what is her like betraying her as this beast, taking out legit badass females and Xia Li and Ivy Nile, cleaning house and all this stuff, like power, like I'm sorry, man. That was just a really, really big turnoff. And again, that's no shade to Nia Jax, but it's just like, come on, man. I just was just not for that at all. And yeah, and I'll speak more about that later on. It was just, I just don't understand what that's just Nia Jax just cleaning house with every woman in the ring. It's just like, all right, come on now. It's just like, you still got to get her back on the tracks to still develop a connection with Jax. And she has to, maybe to a degree, but for her to just take out majority of the freaking women in that ring and clean house, I was not a fan of that, especially for people like Xia Li, Ivy Nile, who, dare I say, are just honestly, Brian, better than her right now. And that's just honestly just what the scenario is in regards to it. So, but before we get into these next entries, Brian, I'm sure you got a lot to say of what I just said about Nia, but from 11 through 20, your thoughts as we're almost or beyond the halfway point through this Rumble, your thoughts so far with this Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, that's all, this is always the area where it kind of, for men and the women, it's the, you let the ring fill up a little bit, you got to start eliminating them. And it's kind of, I don't know what, it's kind of the low point of the match flow, right? Or just the, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Anyway, but yeah, I loved it. Nia Jax coming in there. Cause I mean, it's, like, I hear what you're saying. I don't think Ivy Nile is to that, to that level yet, or even Xia Li. Like, I mean, she wasn't eliminating the Bayley or Becky or Asuka or whatever. So I was fine with it. And like in the Royal Rumble, particularly men or women, again, when you get the Nia Jax or, we'll see it with Omos or, a Brock Lesnar or, that big powerhouse, they're always coming in and going to eliminate,
Oh
3
yeah,
to 5 people right
I
off the
was
bat,
expecting it, bro. I knew it was going to
Yeah.
happen. It's just like, and listen, I get what you're saying with Ivy Nile and Xia Li. I just know what Xia Li is capable of because I've seen her in NXT as well as freaking Ivy Nile. And I understand, like, you can only do so much with Ivy Nile because she's still very new to the main
Right.
roster. So I get it, man. It's just like, but these two are legit. Their characters are legit strong, badass females. And it's very odd. And I don't know if it has anything to do with because of the height, maybe because Ivy Nile's a smaller individual. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and same with Xia Li. I mean, it's totally like I don't see honestly either one of those two women, even if you were to elevate them, like a little bit. Like I wouldn't say either one of those would be Jax, But that's I'm a big fan of Jax, and I think she's going to be in and around the main event picture, for months to come. So I just
Yeah.
think that's what they're doing with her.
Right. And you're right.
Hopefully,
I mean,
yeah.
that's probably what they're going to do with her. We've spoken about her and maybe, again, the Elimination Chamber
Mhm.
and Australia, she could be, somebody to face Rhea Ripley because they need, Rhea Ripley's going to get cheered. We know that she's probably going to be one of the top, or who knows, she could be the main event. I don't freaking know because she's from
Yeah,
Australia. She's going to get a really good reaction.
sure.
Nia Jax could be one of those potential opponents for her. It's just, man, I haven't, but here's the thing though, Brian, I haven't seen enough progression from Nia to where I'll be okay with to say, yeah, go through every single or almost every single woman and just take them out. It's just like, I don't know. But again, that's what they want to portray her as. It is what it is. And luckily, as we go through this Royal Rumble, it didn't really turn out that much of a big deal. But just in the moment and just for what that was, I was just like, come on, man. It's just like, listen, I get it. She's getting better and she's gaining a little bit more respect from from wrestling fans. But it's just like, there's just women in there that are just better than her still. And that's just my take in regards to it. But you're not wrong, Brian. They are going to, I mean, whether we like it or not, she's going to be in that main event title scene with people like, just throwing out names off the top of my head, a Jade Cargill, a Becky Lynch, well, even though she already faced Becky Lynch, freaking Rhea Ripley. I mean, so whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. It's just like, I just, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but it's just frustrating as I know it is for honestly because I know not a lot of people are Nia Jax fans. They're just not, nor have they developed a true connection with her. I just thought it was just very unnecessary to do. And I get it. She's a powerhouse. She's this big woman. It was just not necessary, man. But I hear what you're saying, Brian, because it is going to happen. They are going to push her to that caliber and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully she continues to get better. So we'll see. But let's move on, man, into this Rumble. Entry number 21 was Becky Lynch. Come on, Becky Lynch. Number 22 was Alba Fire. Number 23 was Shayna Baszler. Number 24 was Valhalla from the Viking Raiders.
Bullshit.
Now, this is the comedy shtick of where this comes into play. R-Truth comes out. He runs down the rampway. He jumps into the ring. Guys, he thought that this was the men's Royal Rumble match. Nia Jax throws her over the top rope. Freaking Valhalla and them like exchange some words. Adam Pearce is also out there. Adam's like, what are you doing? This is the women's freaking Rumble match. And then Valhalla gets immediately eliminated. Freaking the interaction with him with Truth and Pierce, it was just freaking great. R-Truth is just awesome, and that's not the last you've heard of R-Truth in this review, but that was just freaking great. But moving on, number 25 was Mia Yim. Number 26 was Zoe Starks. At number 27 was Roxanne Perez, as you guys know as Roxy, for those of you who watch ROH. It's good to see Roxanne Perez. It's funny, right before the show, Brian, I don't know if you caught this, when they were doing this type of shtick to where before the show, they have like each superstar kind of like do their walk down the ramp before the show starts. It's like nobody's in the arena, production, backstage. And they show Roxanne Perez's graphics behind, I believe it was Orton. They had the camera on Orton, and behind you could see Roxanne Perez's graphics. So where everybody's like, well, we know Roxanne Perez is going to be in there. So, and then
Right.
she ends up being at number 27. But it was good to see Roxanne Perez. Of course, you guys know I'm very high on Roxanne Perez in NXT. So it was really good to see her. Now things really start to pick up, really start to pick up. In the middle, it was like, okay, this is, it's, take it or leave it. But now this is where we start to pick up. At number 28, Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill officially makes her WWE debut at number 28 in the Royal Rumble, followed by, guys, Tiffany Stratton from NXT. So good to see freaking Tiffany. You guys know I've spoken about Tiffany a time or two. Guys, I'm telling you, if you don't watch NXT, watch this woman. I don't know why she's not on the main roster right now. She is that freaking damn good, and she was number 29 in this Rumble. And then at number 30 was a returning Liv Morgan at number 30, returning from her injury. Of course, last time we saw her, she was out with a legit injury, but was signed off thanks to Rhea Ripley just a couple months ago. Becky Lynch, Nia Jax were face-to-face, talked about the whole R-Truth stuff. Jade Cargill, she comes out, she takes out everybody. She takes out Nia Jax. She eliminates Nia Jax from the ring. Tiffany Stratton, she comes in. She does her thing. She does a beautiful swanton. She hits it beautifully. There was a really cool spot to where Tiffany was trying to hold on for dear life, and she's holding on to Bianca's braid.
Yeah.
Bayley eliminates both of them just by knocking freaking Bianca's hands off the ropes. Both of them get eliminated. And then it comes down to, actually, before we get to the final four, a badass stare down was between both Bianca and Jade Cargill. And I'm thinking, dude, that was really, they didn't touch each other. All they did was look at each other. Freaking
Mania.
Mania, freaking whatever they got to do. That's got to be in the works. Definitely, they wouldn't do that if that wasn't planned at some point down the road in the near future. But that was a really cool face-to-face between both Bianca and Jade Cargill. That was before, of course, Bianca was eliminated. And then there was another cool sequence as well. So before the stare down, they were doing gorilla presses as they were showing off their strength to one another. And then we get into the next round of elimination. So Becky Lynch gets eliminated. Jade Cargill kind of used Naomi as a weapon as Naomi kicks Becky in the face off the apron and she gets eliminated. And then frickin' Jade Cargill just dumps Naomi over the top rope and Naomi's eliminated. And then we get to the final three. This is Bayley, Liv Morgan, and Jade Cargill. Liv Morgan eliminates Jade Cargill as some type of oblivion type of I guess moving or whatever. She hits the oblivion. Freaking Jade Cargill hit hard. And then right after that, man, Bayley eliminates Liv Morgan, knocking her off of the ring. And Bayley, guys, is your 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match winner. She wins this match. Vegas got it right. She was the favorite to win this thing, and she freaking won it, man. Me as well as you, Brian, we freaking heavily spoke about Bayley winning this freaking Rumble, and she freaking did it, man. And now you, of course, you had Io Sky backstage, and now they're going to tease I'm going after Rhea Ripley, because why would I go after freaking Io Sky, my freaking Damage Control teammate and friend, right? But we know it's going to be Io, and it's going to be in freaking Bayley at WrestleMania, and freaking that face turn, man, it's going to be something to whenever that turn officially happens. But this was the right call. This was obviously the right call. We were scared, I know, going into it with Becky. There was a chance that they can have Becky win this thing. We also said it was not needed, which it's not. But thankfully, they did not go that route. Frickin' Bayley wins this match. It was so good to see. Before I get to your thoughts, Brian, as we wrap this up, as well as we get to our tallies, I've spoken about Bayley many times about, man, it just sucks to see her get the short end of the stick when it comes to just losing streak and losing a lot of, and bro, she's had I want to say an 80 some odd % of losing of matches that have been lost just in this calendar year, as well as in 2023. And it sucks, man. And I even mentioned this is Bayley, man. This isn't some schmuck. This isn't some whatever freaking, woman off the street. Like, this is freaking Bayley. Like, this is your top star in this industry. And for her to finally get this crowning moment and what is probably going to be a potential push towards this championship with Io Sky, it was just great, man. It was just really good to see. They got it right with this one. And man, what a freaking Rumble, dude. This freaking Rumble.
It was good.
It had its moments in the beginning. Towards the middle, it was hit or miss and whatever. Nothing much really happened. But then towards the end, man, with Jade, Tiffany, Liv, and of course the cherry on top, which was freaking Bayley winning this matchup. They also had a shot, like a camera shot of all the ladies outside of the ring. Yeah. Bianca, Tiffany, Jade, and Liv. They were like, fuck, that was my one freaking shot, dude. And I didn't capitalize on it. And Bayley celebrates in the ring. And yeah, man, she wins this Rumble and she has punched her ticket to Mania. So Brian, your thoughts, man, on Bayley winning this Rumble and this Women's Royal Rumble as a whole? The floor is yours.
Man, yeah, I thought it was a really, really good Rumble. Really good start to it, man. I'll start with Jade. I mean, I knew she was gonna, make her debut. And we had even talked about it on the roundtable. Like, I didn't think she was gonna be in the final three, or final four, or whatever. Right. I can't remember what I said, but definitely not the final three. But kudos to her, and woo, what a debut, man! I mean, dude, did you see? So I can't stress this enough, especially in a Royal Rumble. And to your point, like you were just talking about, Jax coming in and cleaning house, right? And every this is big, people. Like, I think, and they're going to use it to really, really push Cargill. Every Royal Rumble you've ever seen, men or women's, right? You think about a Braun Strowman or a King Kong Bundy or Andre the Giant, Nia Jax. Yeah. Anytime those people are eliminated, it's 3, 5, 8 people that it takes to eliminate them, right? Every single time. Jade comes in there. Not only does she hoist her up on her shoulders, she flexes while doing it and single-handedly eliminates Jax by herself. Like, you had seen throughout the match, numerous women try to eliminate Jax, which that's what you do in the Rumble. But I'm telling you, man, just having that spot of her coming out there and just doing it right off the bat by herself, freaking huge, man. And then you go into that stare down with Belair. Dude, that feud, that match, that's money. Who knows when we'll get it, but it's definitely coming. And oh man, those two women, the athletic ability of those, holy shit, man. That's gonna be that's gonna be nice, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, really, really excited about all that. And of course, Bayley winning. I've said all along, I really think this is the year. This 2024 is the year for Bayley. At least, God, I hope so, because like you said, and we've talked about it, like, as one of those top elite women in all of wrestling in the WWE, she's kind of, I don't want to say forgotten one, but she doesn't have the title reigns. She doesn't have the Rumble wins until now, or things of that nature, right? So, man, I really hope 2024 is her year. Just, I expect big things coming up with, this breakup of Damage Control. And Sasha's got, she's got to come to WWE, right? I mean, eventually.
You would think now that Naomi's now back.
Now Naomi's back.
And you didn't see Mercedes, Sasha. You didn't see. I was honestly, man, even as much as I love Liv, I was really hoping that AJ Lee would be that number 30 spot. I would have marked the fuck out if that was AJ Lee at the. But hey, freaking, I love Liv too. But Liv, shout out to Liv. She, it's good to see her as well. And again, there's a storyline. I've always mentioned that with her as well as Rhea. So. But we shall see, man. We shall see. So before I get into my tallies, before I reveal these tallies, I want to. This is to the people watching. What do you guys think that this match is going into the tally? I'll give you all 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. if you guessed good, you're wrong. This isn't good. This was great. As you can see, there are 2 tallies. So if something is great, that is not going to get 1 good. That's going to get 2 freaking goods. So good start, man, to this show. Freaking, again, the surprise entrances honestly did it.
Yep.
Bayley, of course, winning it, being the right call. Jade, Cargill, all the big moments that were just very memorable. Honestly, Brian, it was the women. Now, I will say, to be fair, this match at times was very botchy. It was botchy at times. I'm sure the women try to come up with a lot of creative shit to really put on a good performance, but that's what you usually get with Rumble matches a lot of times anyway.
And the
but
men
outside
too.
of that, man, the crowd was into it. Again, the surprises were awesome throughout this entire matchup, and most importantly, the right person won this freaking match, which was Bayley. So awesome stuff all around. Brian, what are your tallies, my man, before we get into this next match?
So with this one, this is kind of hard for me to go with tally. So this is just how I'm doing it for the Rumble, because it is about the moments and the returns, at the Rumble. So right off the bat, I got 7 good and 1 bad. So I'll go through the goods: Naomi, Jade, Cargill, the entrances. What else did I have here? Cargill, just the whole interaction with her and Jax and eliminating her. The stare down with Belair. I mean, that's going to be money.
Yeah.
Bayley winning, again, that's the right call.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go to like moments here. That KOD that you had mentioned on the apron.
KOD at the Jordynne Grace.
I mean, God, it was beautiful.
Badass, dude.
And Stratton, as soon as she gets in there, man, the moonsault, I mean, fucking perfection.
Dude, perfection, bro.
Oh my God.
Charlotte, hey, I know you were backstage, Ashley. Are you taking notes? That's just all I want to know.
I mean, that is poetry in motion, man. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
So yeah, all in all, those are my 7 goods. I'm not going to harp on this too much about the bad, but it's the whole fucking R-Truth Valhalla thing, man. Like, I love what R-Truth is doing with this comedy thing, but what the fuck was that? Like, the comedy
shtick with the comedy shtick with R-Truth.
That was just the comedy shtick with, like over, with the Judgment Day. That's all great and everything, but having him come out here. And I don't know what Valhalla, it just seems like you just took that, whether it was a moment or whatever. It was just, what the fuck? Why would you do that? So,
interesting.
I don't know. I'm putting that in the bad. I just think that was kind of, it was
unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. It was stupid. It wasn't, I know what they're going for, but for me, that did not hit at all. So, yeah,
that one was out of left field. I did not expect that one. And I'll be honest, and I know you're not going to be a fan of this, Brian, but like, I was really tempted to put a bad with the whole Nia Jax stuff. I really was tempted to put a bad in there, but I don't think it overshadowed too much in regards to what this Rumble was as a whole. So no bad is going to go into the bad column with that. But I hear what you're coming from with Truth. It is a little silly to a degree. I'm not going to harp on the old R-Truth.
No, I mean, it didn't matter in the match. It was just
it's unnecessary. I hear you. I hear you, man. Yeah, I hear you, man. Freaking man, people are losing their minds listening to this right now. How dare you freaking disrespect R-Truth? He is comedy gold, man. I can hear them right now.
No, he is for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That was just dumb.
Right. I feel you, man. I feel you. All right, let us get the ball rolling, man. Our next matchup of the night was the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Undisputed Universal title. This was AJ Styles versus Randall Keith Orton versus LA Knight. Yeah. Versus your champion, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So this matchup was pretty darn close to about 25 minutes in length. Everybody right from the jump, Orton, Styles, and LA Knight, they all go straight after Roman. Again, and this is why I honestly don't mind this Fatal 4-Way, because again, everybody has a slice of the pie that is Roman Reigns, of why they're going after him and why they have an issue with Roman. So that was a cool little way to start the match off. The announce table got some good use. Freaking the announce table got good use, as well as the outside to start the match off. LA Knight did his whole nice, cool freaking suplex off the top rope. By the way, Roman's selling, guys, is just freaking great. This dude took a simple kick to the leg by AJ Styles. Brian, I swear to God, he acted like he got shot in the leg. Like, this dude's selling, dude. And I said, shout out to Keef, who, if he's watching this, because we spoke about it on the Twitter space just last night. Like, this dude's selling is immaculate. Like, people need to take notes on just a simple kick to the leg, because earlier on in the match, of course, he's still selling the whole, Orton likes to do his shtick with the whole kick to the knee and then the kick to the ankle, like that whole, shtick of hitting each body part or whatever. And he still sells that with the kick to the leg of Styles. It's a minor detail, but guys, I'm telling you, it's not so minor to me, and it shouldn't be so minor to everybody else. That is just such good selling. Like, that's the thing, man. It's all about, it's not just the move sets that you deliver, man. It's how you make your other opponent look good. And honestly, Roman Reigns is starting to be one of those people to where, I get it. If you're sick and tired of him being part-time, if you're sick and tired of him holding on to this title, I hear you. But this dude, man, is for the last 3 to 4 years has been putting on the best freaking work of his entire career. And that's just facts, man. So shout out to Roman and just the way he sells. Facial expressions, mannerisms, just, taking moves. It's just freaking awesome. Styles, or AJ Styles, hits a Styles clash to Roman Reigns. LA Knight breaks up the count. AJ Styles ends up hitting a phenomenal forearm to Roman Reigns. Styles ends up he hits the phenomenal forearm onto Reigns. Styles pins Roman and everyone else that's stacked on top of Roman, because they also played this shtick to where, last time Roman had a title match. It was at WrestleMania 37 where he stacked up Daniel Bryan and Edge. So they were kind of playing that whole shtick to where, smash them, stack them, that whole spiel. So they did that part of the matchup. Orton kicks out at the bottom of the pile. And then Randy Orton just ends up RKOing everybody. He RKOs freaking Styles. He ends up RKOing LA Knight. And then freaking Roman Reigns to boot as well. He went for a Superman punch. He got caught with the RKO. Orton goes for the cover. Solo Sikoa gets involved. Shocker, I know. Solo Sikoa getting involved in a Roman Reigns match? No way, right? So Solo Sikoa gets involved. He takes out Orton. You guys know, I'm telling you, Orton and Solo, it's probably, and I don't know, they've already done the matchup, but I can see them running it back again, maybe in another pay-per-view event. Who knows? But we'll talk about that later. Styles, so Solo goes for the hip attack through the barricade. AJ Styles sidesteps it, and Solo goes through the timekeeper's area. Styles then just takes out everybody with the steel chair, because it's no DQ technically. So he's taking out everybody with the steel chair, and then Orton was able to counter that steel chair attack, and then Orton gets the upper hand. Then it's between LA Knight and Roman Reigns towards the end of this matchup. LA Knight goes for the BFT. Roman pushes LA Knight into the ropes, where AJ Styles, I guess, was looking to do another phenomenal forearm, knocks Styles off of the top rope. So LA Knight has been taken out. Roman Reigns hits the spear to Styles, and Roman Reigns wins this matchup and retains his championship. Well, Brian, you know what? I'll have you start this off, man, because I'll have a few things to say about this. But your thoughts, my man? Roman retains this title in this fatal four-way match as a whole.
Overall, man, I mean, I thought it was a good match, entertaining. Obviously, Roman was not going to lose, which he shouldn't.
Right.
So, right person won. Clarify something for me here, because I got confused here a little bit towards the end of the match. So that sequence when Solo comes in, right? Roman's down.
Yep.
And I think he puts AJ on top of LA Knight, maybe, or maybe it was vice versa. But anyway, bottom is flat on the back.
Yep.
I thought shoulders down. The other person's on top of him. Why is the ref not counting that? Because that was a pin to me. That was a pin. So I kind of I was like, what just happened there?
Yeah, when both people are stacked up against each other. Yeah, that's technically a pin, technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, because they had a moment to where like, hey, like Solo's like, hey, he's stacking up the
Right.
people for him. And they had
But
this
then
moment, but like
Solo
the
leaves
referee
to
should still
go.
be counting. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny how you say that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure not a lot of people picked up on that. Yeah, but yeah, that would technically be a pinfall. For
So because I
sure.
was
Absolutely.
waiting there, I was like, holy shit, like it's not even, Roman's not getting pinned, like they're doing this. I was waiting for the ref to come in, and
Yeah.
I figured it would be a kick out, but they never started the count, and I was wondering
Yeah,
what the hell
yeah.
was going on.
Yeah, good
But
point. Yeah.
anyway, I mean, yeah, good match. I definitely Orton and Solo. We're getting probably another 2-3 matches out of them probably.
Yep.
Um, you know, I had said this on the roundtable. Like I did think more people. I expected Jimmy to maybe to come out there, Paul, Heyman to get more involved, but it was just basically Solo.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, all in all, good match. Roman
Mhm.
retains as he should. Um, yeah, I mean, and I can see they're definitely going with Solo and Orton, and then LA Knight and Styles. We'll see where they go from here, if they're in the
Mhm.
elimination chamber or who they're going to be feuding with next. Not really sure, but overall, good match, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. As I make my tally here, as actually I have two tallies for this, but I'm going to give you my first tally. The first tally I have will go into the good, which is the match overall. Again, nothing for a fatal four-way match, and again, you guys know me when it comes
Yeah,
to these fatal four-way matches and how we just randomly throw people in fatal four-ways just to do a fatal four-way. But for this one, man, this was decent, man. This was a decent match. It flowed very well. Again, I just like the story in regards to like everybody has a reason why they're going after Roman.
hmm
And yeah, everybody, played even the sequence towards the end was done very well.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
was on their A game. Styles, unfortunately for a lot of AJ Styles fans, he had to take the pinfall on this one. He was the only guy, honestly. You can't have Orton was never going to take the pinfall, nor
Right.
honestly should he. LA Knight, he already lost to Roman. He can't take a second pinfall. So the only person you have is AJ Styles. And I even said that on the roundtable, as well as
Yeah.
some other people. It's probably going to be AJ Styles, and it was. But here's my second tally. You ready for this, Brian? This may
Yeah,
shock a
man.
lot of people.
What you got? What you got?
My second tally is going to go into the bad. And I'm going to tell you why. The ending of the match. I did not like how simplistic this was. How Styles just takes one single spear
hmm
and he's done.
Let
I
me
don't
let me
like
cut you
that,
off
man.
and ask you a question real quick. So, because I caught this too. Did you see the way that Styles, kind of fell off the rope and kind of it looked like he caught his upper chest, neck area.
Yeah. Think they might have
Did
like
that
called an
look?
audible.
I was like, if you go watch it, I mean, I don't know. It just seemed to me like, man, he hit pretty hard there. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was planned that way.
I haven't heard
But
any
it could just be me. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard
I
anything, but
haven't heard
I was with
anything.
you. It was kind of just was simplistic and
It was
yeah,
very, very simplistic, which is, yeah. So I haven't heard anything. I mean, maybe we'll
yeah,
know more in the next couple of days or so. But yeah, I mean, again, Roman winning is the right call. Styles getting pinned is the right call. It's just
right.
for all of that star power that you have in that match and to end it that simplistically, it didn't sit well. It just didn't
I
really
hear
sit
you.
well to do
Yeah.
that, especially for almost a 25 plus minute match. It's just I felt like we just could have done more, man. I wish we
hmm
could have done maybe a little bit more with Paul Heyman. Maybe again, and I get it with comes to the bloodline, you don't want to get too redundant with the whole freaking interference stuff, but I felt like there was just a little bit more. Again, and who knows with AJ Styles, could have he took a nasty fall and maybe they would have called that audible, just like, all right, just hit the spear and just let's just end this matchup. It's good enough
Yeah.
for that to be an ending. And that could be the case, but I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't heard nothing about it. I mean, you,
I don't know if you
I
remember
would
that
have heard
spot.
something by now about it, but I don't know.
If you
But yeah,
remember
no,
that
Brian,
spot
go ahead.
in the ring in the match too, where I think AJ gives like that knee backbreaker to LA Knight.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was LA Knight that, kind of had like, made the noise upon impact, but I think it was AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just like, I mean, he continued, it didn't seem to bother him that much, but it seemed like maybe he like tweaked his knee there for a second too, if you go back and look at that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know, but I kind of, in the moment, I kind of thought that too. Like AJ's laying into people with the chairs, people are hitting their finishers,
Yeah.
and then boom, like AJ Knight or AJ Knight, AJ Styles, slips off the top rope, spear over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah. And even let's say if AJ was somewhat injured or had maybe tweaked his knee or something, I wish then an audible was called to still have a little bit more of a layer to end that
Sure,
match instead of
sure.
just kind of like being so simplistic. And I get it, like you got to look out for other people, maybe because then you would have to have Orton or LA Knight maybe take the pinfall. So I don't know. Again, I have not heard anything about AJ Styles being injured, so
I
that's
hope
why
not.
I'm putting
Goddamn.
the tally of where it is.
Yeah.
And until I hear something, man, I mean, that was a very simplistic ending, and it just did not sit well at all. With all that star power you have in the matchup, and that's kind of how you end it. I'm sorry, man. We can do we can do better. Again, the matchup's fine. I'm not taking any away from the match. Right person won. This and this and that, but to end it that way, man, I'm sorry. We just got to do better in regard to it. But that's pretty much it in regards to it. But hey, still, so far so good. Again, the women did a tremendous job to start the night off, and again, for what that match was, it was fine. But again, the ending could have added just another layer or two to definitely, protect maybe AJ Styles just a little bit better because he was the one getting pinned. But other than that, man, so far, very solid start to the show. Question is, can Triple H and WWE, can they keep this ball rolling? Well, let's get into our next matchup. Next matchup was for the United States Championship. This was your champion, Logan Paul, versus Kevin Owens. This was very, very interesting, folks. So fight escalates outside quickly. Like they waste no time, these two going at go blow for one another. KO hits a nasty German suplex to Logan Paul. Like Logan Paul, like I'm telling you, man, this dude isn't afraid to take a freaking bump, man. Like this dude can take a bump in that ring. So mad respect to Logan Paul. And then of course you kind of had a feeling they were going to play the whole hand arm injury thing with KO. And that's what they did in this matchup. Honestly, really liked it. I love those injury angle type of matches to where they slow the pace down a little bit, and at least for a good portion of the match, and they target the arm and the injury. I love that stuff. And Logan Paul, again, and it's how you still connect with the audience, which he did. He's taunting the crowd. He did like a Melina type split. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that.
He pulled out his inner. Melina's probably proud of that shit. Freaking the way Logan Paul hit that, and then he does like the double bicep and everything. So Logan Paul was awesome in this match. He did the buckshot lariat clothesline. I mean, this dude is. I'm telling you, man. For a guy we've said it so many times. For a guy that's so new to this industry, the guy just has picked up or is just continuing to get better. Honestly, if I were to make that statement, but
he is.
So then we get to the end of this matchup. One of Logan Paul's buddies tries to interfere. Security comes out because they know this happened last time. So security's like trying to escort him out. Because of course what happened with Rey Mysterio and other matchups with Ricochet and others. So as security is distracted with Logan Paul's buddy or whatever you want to freaking call him. Apologies. I don't know his freaking name, but Grayson Waller and Austin Theory then come out. They're like, I guess you could say also good buddies with Logan Paul. Austin Theory hands Logan Paul brass knucks. So the referee doesn't see it because they're still, dealing with the guy outside of the ring, try to escort him out of the outside or escort him out of ringside. Logan goes for the knockout punch. He hit the knockout punch earlier without the brass knucks, and Logan Paul kicked out. Or excuse me, Kevin Owens kicked out. Logan then tries to go for the brass knucks. They then get tied up. Kevin Owens ends up snatching the brass knucks. He hits frickin' Logan Paul with the brass knucks, knocks him out, goes for the cover, and then 1, 2, and then the referee sees the brass knucks and he DQs Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul wins the matchup via DQ, which means he wins, or he, of course, retains his championship. After the match, Kevin Owens just freaking loses it, beats the shit out of Logan Paul, does a pop-up power bomb through the freaking announce table on the outside. And that is your segment, man. Logan Paul. So obviously, they're going to continue this, man. They're going to continue this whole spiel with Kevin Owens. Do they do another matchup? Probably at Elimination Chamber. I doubt that they would do a rematch for Logan Paul at WrestleMania. They'll probably do this at Elimination Chamber with some type of a stipulation going into that pay-per-view in Australia. So, yeah, man. And here's the thing. I was like, a DQ finish for a pay-per-view. But I'll be honest with you, Brian, the way that it was done very well.
Yeah.
I'm usually not a fan of these types of finishes, but how it was done, it was, because again, with Kevin Owens, it's just like, you can't have him just take another simplistic L, especially to Logan Paul. So I guess, they're going to try to make him stay face or do whatever it is they're going to do, maybe in a stipulation for next matchup with Logan, because I still feel like they're going to have Logan Paul walk into Mania as your United States champion, you would think. So, but for what this was, man, I don't mind it. I actually, a DQ finish that actually kind of makes sense and actually has substance, right? So I thought this was very well done. I know, guys, I'm shocked just as you are listening or tuning into this. So, but I'll get more into this later. But Brian, your thoughts on this United States title match between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens?
Yeah, I thought that was the perfect ending to it. Because going into it, like I said, I even originally was kind of like, man, I think Owens has to win here, but it's having the DQ finish. For me, it was the best of both worlds. Kind of, you still get Paul. He's going to hold on to the title, and of course, they benefit monetarily and eyeballs and all that. Mm-hmm. And then you have the end of the match where KO kicks his ass. So, it was a win-win for me, Of course, like we said, I mean, you can only say it so much, but Logan Paul, as much as he irritates the shit out of me, the dude is fucking impressive in the ring, man. He has delivered. He has over-delivered in every single match he's been in. What does he have, 3 or 4 now? But every single one, he has over-delivered.
Absolutely.
So, shout out to him. Overall, good, entertaining matchup. And, the DQ finish. So it's not, you can say KO didn't, he takes the L, but didn't get pinned or anything like that.
But it was how the DQ was done, though. It was actually very well thought in regards to how it was done. Mm-hmm. So I can accept it for what I usually don't. I would not accept this type of finish, especially at a pay-per-view. But for how the DQ was done, it was actually somewhat, dare I say, creative in regards to not having KO just kind of lose. Because if they would have had like Kevin Owens like lose the match and then also do the beatdown, I'm like, okay, he lost the match and then he beats him up. Like, dude, you still lost. Like that type of booking, I would be like, okay, that's just weird. Like that you could have just seen that type of finish of a match, like freaking on SmackDown or Raw. But that, man, at least if you're going to continue this spiel, which clearly they're going to, that's a way you can do it. So shockingly, man, I'm going to reveal my tally. Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens, the United States title. Gets a good for me. I know. Your eyes are not deceiving you guys. I know. Brian, I get a little bit of a bad rap on social media and TikTok about being a little too negative. Well, this is as positive as fair as I could freaking be for y'all. So, but we'll see in regards to the men's rumble. But Brian, I'd love to see your tallies and what you got so far.
Yeah.
Whenever
so
you're ready.
I'm up to, for this match in particular, I put 2 in the good just for, it was a good match. And then for the beatdown afterwards, I just loved it. So I'm up to 10 good and 1 bad. So I've loved it so far, man.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So far, a very decent pay-per-view, on and arguably a good pay-per-view. As we get into our main event, which is the men's Royal Rumble match. Whew. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it because there's a lot of stuff I want to say, but I'm gonna save it. And as we're gonna get into these entries here, so the men's Royal Rumble match is, of course, what ends this night off. Entries number 1 and 2 were both Jay and Jimmy Uso. Jay and Jimmy Uso. The Usos are the first 2 entries of the Royal Rumble match. Very nice touch, man. You kind of had a feeling when Jay Uso came out. The first thing I said, I'm like, Jimmy's going to come out. And he freaking did at number 2. So that was a nice, they had a cool little face off and everything, which was very nice. They go for blows to start the match off. Number 3 was Grayson Waller. Andrade returns at the number 4 spot. Very good to see Andrade back in WWE. At number 5, you have Carmelo Hayes. Number 6 was Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 7 was Santos Escobar. Number 8 was Karrion Kross. Number 9 was Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And at number 10 was Carlito Caribbean Cool. So I can't really say outside of the first 2 entries, not much really happened. Carmelo Hayes, you had, of course, Andrade. I mean, Andrade was a big surprise entrant. It was really cool to see Andrade. He had a little interaction with Santos Escobar that could lead to something. Who knows? They've teased a lot of stuff in this Rumble, both the men as well as the women for future dates or whatever. But yeah, outside of that, nothing much really happened. I mean, Karrion Kross and Lashley got into it as they were eliminated. I believe Lashley, who was the 11th entrant, which we'll get to, but he eliminated Kross. Then Kross, when he was already eliminated Lashley, and then AOP, Kross, Profits, Lashley, they all brawl through ringside, and then they bring it to backstage. So that was pretty much, at least for the third of this match, that is pretty much all is what happened. So Brian, 1/3 of the matchup so far. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, that the kind of the first third was just about Jimmy and Jay for me.
Yeah.
That was the best part of it. And then, I mean, the AOP and Cross and what are they called? The Lashley. Do they have a name yet?
The Final Testament is their name.
No. Lashley and
Lashley in the Street. Oh, they're called the Pride. I think
the Pride. Yeah,
the Pride or something.
I mean, man, I really want to see something come of that feud. We'll see. I'll leave it at that. We'll see.
I will say, I mean, Kross and AOP, they are bringing the best out of Lashley and the Street Profits over the last few. Like, they're done, doing their, the Street Profits are done with their whole, babyface, joking, dancing shtick. But now, even as baby faces, if that's what you're going to make them, get serious, man. Have a different persona. If you're going to, take the suits off, roll the sleeves up, and freaking be badass, man. Don't just be like these freaking clowns, these jokes that just get run over every single freaking week. And that's kind of what the Street Profits and Lashley have been. And we've spoken about it before, Brian, and how they started off as heels and now you throw them in such a short amount of time. Now you have to have them do the job to Kross and his stable. It is kind of a weird pairing, but hey, they're bringing the best out of Lashley and the Profits, and I just hope that momentum continues going into whatever. I guess they're going to have a matchup on SmackDown. I doubt that they will put this on a freaking pay-per-view, but listen, man, I'll give it a chance with Lashley and the Street Profits. By the way, can Lashley hit a freaking spear properly? Every time I watch Lashley hit a fucking spear, it's what the fuck is this guy doing? It's bro. Kairi Sane hit a better spear last night than Bobby Lashley. It's so,
I got to go back and see it. I don't remember it.
So bad, bro. Dude, watch Braun Breaker's spear, and we're gonna get to Braun Breaker. Spoiler alert, bro. Watch his spear versus Bobby Lashley. His Braun Breaker's spear is miles ahead of freaking Bobby Lashley, and I like Lashley, but my God, he needs to stop with that freaking spear. It's so freaking awful. Just had to throw that out there. But anyway. But let's get into these next few entries, man. At number 12, we have Ludwig Kaiser from Imperium. Number 13 was Austin Theory. Number 14 was Finn Balor. Number 15 was the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Number 16 was Bronson Reed. Number 17 was Kofi Kingston. Number 18 was your IC champion, Gunther. There was a cool little spot to where I think Ludwig got eliminated, and then the next entrant came down. I'm like, it's Gunther, isn't it? And sure thing, it was Gunther. I freaking knew it.
Yep.
So they had that little interaction, I guess, once again, teasing more tension within Imperium. But Viking Raiders, Ivar was number 19. And then NXT's Braun Breaker. NXT's Braun Breaker freaking comes out, takes out everybody, freaking spears Jimmy Uso, freaking spears Gunther, takes out everybody. Braun Breaker honestly looked, at least for a short amount of time, looked pretty darn solid in there, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really good to see Braun Breaker. I've said it for freaking months. This dude should have been on the main roster by now. This dude is in shticks with Baron Corbin on NXT, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing with Baron Corbin and that whole spiel? So hopefully by the time we get to Mania or after Mania, Braun Breaker is done with NXT. He doesn't need to be in NXT anymore. Neither does Tiffany Stratton. As much as I love what she's doing right now in NXT, she's doing some other shtick. I forgot what her other name is, this other NXT female. I apologize, but get those two on the main roster, man. Like, they are freaking ready. They've been ready, bro. So it's so good to see Braun Breaker in that regard. So, but outside of that, man, again, there's really not much to really gravitate towards. I mean, yeah, Braun Breaker, Cody Rhodes came out, the whole, Gunther comes out, he's chopping everybody, but again, no big surprises outside of Andrade so far. But so before we get further into this match, Brian, your thoughts as we're halfway through this matchup so far, your thoughts?
Yeah, for this period, I mean, not that it was necessarily a surprise entrance, but it was about Breaker. I mean, he came out there and looked dominant. I will say, so I'm gonna, well, I'll leave it. There's just the way he got eliminated, like after coming out there and Braun Breaker, and this isn't anything against Dom or whatever, but then the simplistic way that Breaker was eliminated, it's just like, what the fuck was all Dominic that for?
Right.
And it just, that, again, that just didn't really make sense or whatever. But, I mean, not like that Braun was going to win it or anything, but it just, to have him come out there and be that dominant guy. And you hear the rumors of like Braun basically took Brock's place, which, again, if we're really going with that he took Brock's place, and then assuming that Dom was going to eliminate Brock, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's interesting. I honestly feel that Brock, and I'm going to get to it, Brock was going to be in a certain position that someone else was a part of. So yeah, it's with Braun and Brock. I mean, if that is the case, I mean, I know Dave Meltzer brought it up, and I was like, that's very interesting. I mean, if that's the case, man, like that honestly worked out very well outside of the elimination. Yeah, I definitely wish that Braun was eliminated in more of a badass way.
Yeah,
and just kind of just lazily getting tossed over the top rope by Dominic. Yeah, no, I definitely hear you in regards to it. But it was really cool to see Braun Breaker, at least for that short amount of time, kind of be on that tear. And again, man, I just hope that this dude finally is done with NXT. He doesn't need to be down there anymore, man.
You're right. Yeah.
He needs to be on this main roster, man. But again, it's just that they don't have anything for him. That's probably why. It's just like, okay, now it's like finally they maybe have something for him. He might be in some shtick with the Judgment Day. I know it like at an exclusive interview backstage. I think he talked about that he's not done with the Judgment Day, or he called out the Judgment Day or something like that. So that's probably what they're going to do with Braun Breaker. I would prefer him to just be the diabolical heel that he was just about a year ago. I guess they're going to do that whole face shtick. I mean, because there's already so many baby faces on this main roster already. Like, again, Jay, LA Knight, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. I don't know. CM Punk. I'll get to CM Punk. I have a different perspective with Punk, but just a lot of baby faces.
Yeah.
So to have Braun also be another baby face, it's just like, I don't know, dude, that heel shtick, man, I'm telling you, like, that should have been the persona in a badass way, however you want to do it, to debut Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
We'll see in regards to how Braun Breaker does debut on the Raw or SmackDown roster. We'll soon find out. But let's get into these last 9 entrances. At number 21 was Omos. Freaking Omos. Who doesn't love
Omos
freaking
sighting?
Omos?
Omos sighting.
I know, right? And then number 22, you had Pat McAfee. That's right, guys. Pat McAfee standing at commentary in shock and all. By the way, that was a genuine reaction. Pat McAfee claimed that he had no idea that he was about to be a part of this Rumble. That, honestly, Brian, is where I was the spot to where I believe Brock Lesnar was supposed to be a part of. That's what kind of came to me because of how genuine the reaction was, because I truly believe he did not know. And again, Pat McAfee said he did not know. Obviously, like a little joke that Triple H did backstage. Vince would always do the same shit with other superstars or whatever. So that he pretty much just eliminates himself. He sees Braun and he sees Omos. And he's like, yeah, I want no part of it. And he's like, he's like, nope, let me get back on the commentary table. I mean, take it or leave it, man. I guess that was the big
one
of the comedy segments. Yeah. So again, I love Pat McAfee, so it was fine for what it was in the moment. But JD McDonough was number 23. This is when Braun Breaker gets eliminated. Out of frustration, he just spears the shit out of JD McDonough right before he even gets into the freaking ring. R-Truth is at number 24. He actually tries to he puts JD in the ring, and JD McDonough is eliminated instantly by Jey Uso. R-Truth, guys, this R-Truth is freaking great. I'm sorry. This dude thought this was a tag match, and he's reaching for a tag.
First time in history, somebody's tagged into the Royal Rumble.
For a tag in the Royal Rumble match, dude. I can't.
See, that was awesome. I mean, that was beautiful.
R-Truth is the fucking best, man. Oh my, dude, I died. I'm like, no, he is not reaching for a tag. Oh my God, that was great. And he did.
I know, right? I know.
And he actually tagged him. Oh my God, it was freaking great. I'm sorry. Listen, I know WWE loves to do these comedy shticks, and it could be corny and cheesy, but freaking R-Truth is fucking hilarious. That shit makes me freaking laugh. Like, I'll laugh at R-Truth than any other corny shtick that WWE does. So it was just great, man. It was awesome. Shout out to R-Truth. He's just I can't emphasize enough about R-Truth. Anyway, so number 25, we have The Miz. The Miz was number 25. Damian Priest. That's right, guys. The Money in the Bank briefcase holder.
Why is he in the Royal Rumble?
Is in the Rumble match. And you tell me. I've been asking this question to hundreds of people, and nobody
get 2 title shots.
He's going to get 2
guaranteed title shots.
Like, screw the briefcase. Why do I want to cash in for a title opportunity when I could just go through 29 other participants in the Rumble? Why not, right? Why make it easier? Let's just make it fucking harder. Anyway, that's another difference. That's a different story for today. CM Punk was number 27. Ricochet, okay, cool, was number 28. Drew McIntyre was number 29, and at number 30 was a returning Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn. Listen, I'll get to Sami Zayn in just a second. So again, Dominic Mysterio eliminates Breaker with the spear to JD. We talked about that whole spiel with R-Truth, of course. Gunther ends up eliminating Jey Uso. That's when Punk and Drew McIntyre and everyone else hit the ring. And we get into the final 4 participants. This is Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. CM Punk ends up eliminating McIntyre. McIntyre was like right up in CM Punk's face, like, I'm not the same guy I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same guy that I was 10 years ago. And he ends up getting tossed over the top rope and getting eliminated. Final 3, you have Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther. Cody Rhodes eliminates Gunther from the matchup, and the final 2 are CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Dare I say, Brian, towards the end of this spiel, I mean, both Punk and Cody were just emptying the kitchen sink at one another. Towards the end of this match, Punk hits a pedigree, and he starts to play the heel in this. He's like screaming at the crowd. He's saying, he says, I didn't waste 10 years just to lose to Dusty's kid, as he's speaking into the camera A. So he's playing the heel right now. And you would think like Cody's going to win this. And Cody freaking wins this, guys. Freaking CM Punk goes for the GTS. He counters it, tosses Punk over the top rope, and Cody Rhodes wins the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble. You had both champions up in suites. You had your world champion, Seth Rollins. You had Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Cody Rhodes, he points straight up at Roman Reigns. Clearly, that's your WrestleMania main event. It's happening, folks. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Part 2, WrestleMania Philly. It's happening. Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story. And Royal Rumble goes off the air. Hi, my me. Man, Brian, I to be fair, this is probably one of the worst Rumbles I can probably remember in quite some time. I'm dead serious.
So the men's or just overall?
No, the men's. The men's
okay.
Rumble match. I'm talking about the men's Rumble match. The men's Rumble match as a whole is what I mean. The crowd was dead. There was no surprises. And it all led to Cody Rhodes winning again. Because, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, all of this should have happened last year. That's what I'm watching. I'm watching everything that should have transpired last year. They had Cody Rhodes win it last year at the 30 spot. We talked about how that was not a good decision to do. He entered at the number 15 spot this year, and we're just running it back again. Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story. He's going to face Roman. Do they, dare I say, do they make this a triple threat with The Rock? I pray to God, I hope not, that's not the case. But yeah, man, at this point, Brian, listen, I like Cody. I really like Cody a lot. I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm not going to bash Cody. I'm not going to bash this decision. I'm not. The decision, I'm not going to really say anything too harsh or nothing because I like Cody. Here's all I'm going to say. Let's just get this shit over with. Let's just get to WrestleMania. Let's have Cody finish this damn fucking story and let's be done with this, man. Like, honestly, I just want to get to Mania and just be done with this, man. So I don't have to hear all of this shit about Cody, Rock, Roman, who main event night 1, who main events night 2, all of this shit. I want to be done with it. If Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story at night 2, and I've said it before as well, I'm totally fine with it. I don't know how you're going to make that moment just as special as WrestleMania 39 last year because you're not going to. But the decision, is it the right call? I guess. I mean, if you're going to have Punk play the heel, and plus Punk is advertised for Elimination Chamber, so you can kind of put 2 and 2 together of why he didn't win this matchup. So yeah, man, that's my reaction. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I like Cody. I'm not mad at this decision. I just think the Royal Rumble, this matchup overall, outside of Andrade returning in the face-to-face with both the Usos and Braun Breaker, it was good to see Breaker take out some people. That's it. Nothing else happened. It was like, all right, we got to start picking it up. Sami Zayn was the 30th entrant, guys. Guys, I love Sami Zayn. Why is he at number 30? That's your 30th freaking entrant, guys, is Sami Zayn. Brian, I'm sorry. This was this was an underwhelming men's Royal Rumble match. It just really was. I'm just to all of that, just to Cody win once again and face Roman at Mania and to just run it back and do the same shit like you did last year, because you did nothing with Cody Rhodes this entire year. Nothing is different. There's no struggle and adversity. Hopefully everybody out there has seen enough struggle and adversity to say, okay, now let's do it this year instead of wasting in another year to do this again. So that's all I can say, man. Let's just get this over with and be fucking done. And that's all I can say. Brian, your thoughts? I'll get to my tallies in just a second. Your thoughts on this men's Rumble match?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I can't. I'm kind of with you. Like, I'm not gonna completely shit on Cody winning. Would I've had him winning? No. And it was underwhelming. Like, I did expect. I don't know. I expected more excitement in this match. More, entrance, returns, debuts, whatever.
The women should have ended the night, bro. The women I mean, if this is
how it went, yeah. I mean, the women's was far better.
The women should have ended the night. That women's Rumble match blew the men's Rumble match out the fucking water, dude. I mean, if this is how they were going to portray each Rumble match, the women should have just ended the freaking night. It's not even close, dude. It was not even close. But yeah, continue.
So I mean, this just I don't know. I'd say the only way, just for me personally, that, and you know, of course, it's not about me, and everybody has opinions and thoughts and whatever. But the only way this really has a payoff for me is now you have to have, whether night 1, night 2, you know, the main events are Rock Roman, Rock Cody. You know, and where Rollins and Punk fall, I don't know, but not the main event. So yeah, I mean, I guess if that's what you're doing, okay. It's just I don't know, man. Because even then, like if you put it again, it just comes back to like this is a year too late. Is that, you know, even if you have those 2 main event matches, right, night 1 and night 2. Still, the bigger story to me comes out to being Rock being head of the table. You know, even if Cody wins and he's completed a story and now he's champion, and that's great going forward. But in that WrestleMania moment, in that time, Rock and Roman is still the bigger thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, well, I don't know. I mean, even if you had CM Punk going or winning, he's probably obviously going to call out Rollins. So, I mean, it was already predetermined whoever won what the matchup was going to be to some degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was no intrigue or suspense there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm with you. Like, this was the downer of the night. It was a really good show overall. This was just kind of a wet fart, man. I don't know. It was just
very underwhelming. It was just like, okay, Cody won the Rumble. Okay, great. It's like, guys, like, what do you want me to do? Like, bust a load over it? Like, I don't know what you want me to do. It's good to see Cody win, and it's just like, again, I'm just seeing the same thing that they did last year, man. Because again, they know, Triple H he knows he effed up last year. He knows that. He's even said it in the media scrum last year. And all they're doing is just righting the wrongs. That's all they're doing, man. And who knows, like, does Roman still retain this title at Mania? Is the goal to surpass Hulk Hogan's title reign? Right. I'm not going to even say it's a record, because it's really not even a record. It's just to surpass a milestone. That's really all it is. So, look, man, I hope people seen enough struggle and adversity to say, okay, let's finally freaking do this. Let's
this motherfucker, goddammit.
Let's finally have Cody finish his story. Now's the time to do it, right? I don't know, man. It's just like, I was just, again, man, dare I say, forgive me not. I was just expecting more. I was expecting a better Rumble. Right. Yep. This is the Royal Rumble. This is one of the biggest events of your calendar year. And that's what you do for the men. Come on. So, and again, this has nothing to do with Cody winning the match. I want to make this very clear. But I am going to reveal this tally. And then, Brian, I'll send this off to you with your final tallies. This Rumble match, guys, and I hate to, this may sound harsh. It gets a freaking ugly. That was horrible. I'm sorry. That was freaking horrible. Outside of Jey Uso and Jimmy and that whole interaction, Andrade's return, maybe if you want to throw Braun Breaker in there, nothing happened. Nothing, no surprise entry. And guys, the crowd was dead. Tampa Bay was fucking dead, bro. They didn't budge out of their seat. And it also sucks, Brian, to this degree. I forgot to mention this. Like, a lot of these entrants, people like a Tegan Knox, a Candice LeRae, people like a Ricochet, people like a frickin' a Karrion Kross or a Santos Escobar, you hear the crowd and they just don't budge because they're not drawn to these people because there's a lot of casuals that are going to be drawn to this product over the next couple months because it is WrestleMania season. And because you've booked these people so poorly, that's the reaction you're going to get because they have such a generic freaking theme song and you've booked them so poorly to where a lot of casuals who maybe either two things are new to wrestling, are new to the industry, or have been wrestling fans for a long time. And they're like, hey, it's WrestleMania season, it's the Royal Rumble. Let me see what's going on in WWE land. And you come across these people and people don't freaking budge out of their seat. And that's a problem, man. And it sucks to see. So that's my tally. Brian, your final thoughts and your final tallies before we end this show.
I'm going to be a little more generous. I put one in the bad. Just, for this show overall, how the other three, the Women's Rumble, the Fatal 4-Way, and the U.S. title match, I thought all were really good. And this was just kind of, it was the downer of the night. I was hoping for, again, just more excitement, more intrigue, but it just didn't, I don't know. It just didn't deliver.
It didn't deliver. Yeah. It's that simple, man. Regardless of maybe people didn't mind it, but you can't say that this that this delivered it because it didn't, bro. Like you had Cody Rhodes win. Okay, great. Like again, are we gonna freaking throw a parade or like maybe Cody Rhodes fans that are just diehard Cody Rhodes fans and great for them, but it's like nothing else happened.
I swear to God, and I don't care what if it's involving Rollins or Roman and Cody or whoever. Yeah. For either one of those world titles, if we get to Mania and it's a triple threat in either one of those, God damn it, man! Like, pick, get your two people, get your challenger for Rollins if he's able to make it, get your challenger for Roman, and let's fucking get it on, man. But
let's freaking do it.
Please, no triple threat. Please.
For the love of God, man. Please. I'll take freaking hell. Somebody pitched to me, Brian, the other day, like, again, The Rock getting involved. And I've pitched it too. Like maybe The Rock gets involved, cost
Roman. Got to be two separate matches.
It's got to be two separate matches. If you're going to do Cody and Roman, fine. I'm fine with it. I'll try to be hopeful that it could be somewhat captivating like last year. But you cannot add The Rock in that same freaking match. You cannot fucking do that shit. Can they do that? It's possible. I wouldn't pass this company, Brian, to do such a thing.
Right.
So, and that's all I can say, man. So let me reveal my final tallies, man. Again, guys, you guys know me. I'm a very honest critique because I love this business. I love wrestling. But this is as honest as I can be. By the skin of their teeth, I got 4 in the good. You cross that ugly out, you get 3 bads. So, by again, WWE skin of their teeth, this was a good pay-per-view with 4 goods to 3 bads for this pay-per-view. Brian, your final tallies, man. Let's see it.
Yep, and I went a little bit different way. Like I said, in the Royal Rumble particularly, it's more about the moments for me and the return. So I wound up with 11 good and 3 bad. So overall, I enjoyed it. It was just kind of the ending I expected more.
But, absolutely. I mean, you can make an argument all the way up until that men's Royal Rumble. It was just, it was fine. It was actually, everything was fine to a T. And then you got to that men's Royal Rumble match, man, and it just did not deliver. The crowd was just not into it. Everything that you can add up in regards to this just did not hit at all. So Cody gets this. Cody's is going to finish his story, and we shall see where it goes. Maybe it's not even a guarantee. Maybe. But we're going to
think about this. It's, right, one of the biggest rivalry ever, right? Rock Stone Cold. They had 3 Manias.
Right.
Stone Cold won the first 2, Rock won the third one. I mean, I don't think they're going that route, but I mean, shit, they could, man. I mean, but if they draw this out longer and have like a third match, and again, whatever, because we've talked about this before. Like, I feel like this. For Cody, again, it's not about Roman. It's just the title. It's not about defeating Roman.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. But unfortunately, At this point, I think when it comes to Cody, and if you got to make this story feel somewhat a big deal, Roman is the only guy. Maybe Orton, because Cody and
Right,
Orton
right.
would
It would
freaking
have to be
deliver.
Orton, if not right.
It's yeah, that's the only way. But honestly, Brian, the options when it comes to that statement are very, very limited at
Yeah.
this point.
Yep, you're right.
So yeah, and that's just it is what it is. But hey, overall, the women, much props to the women. Let
Yep,
me get a round of applause
absolutely.
to the women.
Yep.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. The surprise entrances, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Jordynne Grace, they freaking delivered. And I'm going to say it
Mhm.
again. That should have ended the freaking night off. Those
Yep.
ladies did tremendous. Just everything to a T was tremendous. Even the Fatal 4-Way. The Fatal 4-Way was fine. Would have had a better freaking ending to it, which is why I put a bad in there. Even the KO and Logan Paul, even though they're going to continue this and we'll see how it goes, but the way that DQ finish was done, it was
Mhm.
actually done very well. I don't say that a whole lot, but the way it was done very well. And then unfortunately with this Rumble match, man, just did not deliver. Crowd was not into it. No surprises. Nothing got people in that building captivated from start to finish. Nothing.
Yep.
Just to have Cody Rhodes win again and do the same shit from last year. Will it work? Will Cody Rhodes finish his story? We're
I
soon
just
gonna
hope this next month and a half goes quickly, man. Just go
You
quickly.
and me both, man. You and me both. Let's get this fucking shit over with. And
Yeah.
that's it, bro. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our Royal Rumble review. This was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hope you guys enjoyed. There will be plenty more of these reviews to come for Elimination Chamber and of course for WrestleMania in the near future, as we are in WrestleMania season and things will definitely pick up, and there's going to be lots of still of good, intriguing stuff
Yep.
to go over the next several months. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. Once again, shout out to Shea and Sons. Make sure you guys go check out
Absolutely.
their podcast. I will put all of their stuff in the description down below for you guys to go check them out. So thank you and shout out to them. But thank you to all of you guys for tuning in once again. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That is ruthless_talk. We make so much great content over there on those platforms. And of course, our Facebook page. We can't forget about the Facebook page. Make sure you guys join us over there. So yeah, man, it's our very first good, the bad, and the ugly of 2024. Again, I love doing these. Hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. For those of you guys who are tuning in. So yeah, man, it's official WrestleMania season. Now this is where things get spicy. So Brian, your final thoughts, man, before we end the show.
Like I said, just looking forward to the next month and a half, and hopefully it goes quickly. I mean, I do expect to see Rock a handful of times between now and then.
Yeah.
I do anticipate him having a match at Mania. So yeah, man, it's just going to be hopefully again, Seth can make it back for Mania, because that would really be a shame if he can't go at Mania and defend that title.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Hopefully he's I'm sure he's rehabbing and can make it back for that date. But yeah, man, we'll see. It was a fairly good first pay-per-view for the year.
Yeah.
And Elimination Chamber is always a little bit of a letdown to me. I think it's just that filler in between the Rumble and the Mania. So we'll see, man. But Punk's already declared himself, so that's interesting in and of itself right there. Just that he's going to be one of those competitors in that chamber. So
and
yeah,
also
man.
like the fact that Punk played the heel in this Rumble.
Yeah,
Are they going to go with Punk as a heel now, or are they just going to and they've done this before? And they'll just have him go immediately back as a babyface the next Monday night on Raw. So
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting with Punk and his involvement. They're going to probably do some type of number one contenders match for that chamber match. Same goes for the women. So we shall see, man. We shall see. We still got plenty of time till WrestleMania. A lot of stuff to get into and a lot more questions still left to be answered. But for what this was, man, decent pay-per-view. And again, shout out to the women because they freaking delivered. And again, many more of these good, the bad, and the uglies to come. That's going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And until next time, and there will be a next time, your boys are signing off saying salute.
Peace out.
And take care, everybody. Peace.
Let the body hit the floor. Let the body hit the floor. Let the body hit the floor.